Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking something so fundamental, so completely integrated into every single second of our lives that it's practically invisible to us. We are looking at the massive, quiet power of the plant kingdom and discovering just how outrageously dependent we actually are on it.
So let me ask you a question right off the bat. How many plants have you relied on today? Think about it for a second. Maybe you had an apple at breakfast, or you poured yourself a cup of coffee. Okay, that's two. But what if I told you that before you even stepped out your front door this morning, you've likely interacted with dozens of different plants without even realizing it? Today, we're going to trace that invisible network.
When we picture what plants give us, our minds usually jump straight to something like this: a basket of fresh fruits and veggies. You know, your classic brinjal, a bottle gourd, maybe some strawberries, bananas, and carrots. It's nostalgic, it's basic, and of course, it's absolutely essential. But I promise you, this basket, it is just the tip of the iceberg.
Here's our game plan for today. We'll start with feasting on flora, move into spices, oils, and brews, and then check out nature's pharmacy and lumber. After that, we'll dive into fibers, rubber, and paper, and finally wrap up with ecosystems and everyday essentials. All right, let's get into it.
Part 1. Feasting on Flora, Beyond the Fruit.
You know, when we talk about eating plants, we usually picture grabbing a ripe piece of fruit off a branch, but we actually consume literally every architectural component of a plant. Think about it. Eating a turnip, you're pulling up and munching on a root. Chopping up garlic for your pasta sauce, that's a modified stem. Tossing a spinach salad means you're eating leaves, and steaming some broccoli for dinner, you are quite literally eating a flower. We're using the entire biological structure of the plant to fuel ourselves.
And all of this builds up to the absolute foundation of our global diets, food grains. These basically fall into two camps: cereals and pulses. Cereals are the seeds from plants like wheat, rice, barley, and maize. Pulses, on the other hand, are seeds from pod-bearing plants, so think peas, kidney beans, and gram. Knowing this distinction gives us a really great structure for how we look at our pantries, because combined, these two categories provide the massive bulk of the entire world's daily calories.
Moving on to Part 2. Spices, oils, and brews flavoring the world.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that our favorite flavors aren't just generic plant matter. They come from super specific, sometimes surprising anatomical parts of the plant. Check this out. Coriander gives us that dynamic flavor from both its leaf and its seed. And that warm cinnamon you love in your winter baking, that is actually dried tree bark. Turmeric, which gives curries that vibrant yellow color, is a stem. And cloves, which pack such an intense punch, are literally just dried flower buds. Humans have brilliantly figured out how to extract massive flavor profiles from random dried seeds, barks, and buds all over the globe. But hey, the utility doesn't stop at spices. We also extract incredibly rich, heavy oils from plants like mustard, sunflower, coconut, and almond by pressing their seeds and nuts. Obviously, we cook with these all the time, but the utility goes way beyond the kitchen pan. I mean, these very same plant oils are essential foundational ingredients that we literally rub directly onto our hair and our bodies for health and hydration.
Speaking of versatile, that brings us perfectly to our brews. There's this fascinating historical quote from our sources. Long ago, tea was used only as a medicinal drink. Tea was first used as a drink in China. That is just such cool historical trivia to me. The tea plant is an evergreen, meaning it valiantly keeps its leaves year-round. And what started out as an ancient medicinal tonic in China is now the brew that powers billions of mornings globally, sitting right alongside coffee and sugar, which, yep, you guessed it, are also direct gifts from the plant world.
All right, Section 3. Nature's pharmacy and lumber, healing and housing. Think of this as our natural first aid kit. Way before modern synthetic pharmaceuticals, humans relied entirely on the specific medicinal properties of plants. Take tulsi leaves, for example. They've been used for generations to soothe coughs and colds. We actually just talked about cloves as a culinary spice, but their natural numbing properties make them an amazing, historically proven treatment for toothaches. And neem leaves are highly respected for clearing up skin infections. These aren't just myths. These plants act as powerful, active biological tools.
And it goes from healing our bodies to physically housing them. Actually, do me a favor real quick. Just look around the room you're in right now. The chair you might be sitting on, the table in front of you, the doors, the bookshelves, maybe even the wooden pencils sitting on your desk. All of that is sourced from tree wood. Trees like teak, saul, and mahogany provide the rigid, durable materials that quite literally frame human civilization and our daily living spaces.
On to Section 4. Fibers, rubber, and paper, the hidden innovations.
This right here brilliantly illustrates that astonishing transformation from raw nature into human utility. On one side, you have a fluffy, delicate cotton plant that gets harvested, spun, and woven into a vibrant frock or a t-shirt. On the other side, the leafy jute plant is processed and woven into sturdy, durable things like a heavy bag or even thick ropes and mats. When you got dressed this morning, there's a remarkably high chance you wrapped yourself entirely in plant fibers.
Then there's this incredible mini manufacturing process going from a tree to a tire. Step 1, you extract the juice, basically the sap from the rubber tree. Step 2, that raw, sticky juice is heavily processed and cured into durable rubber. Step 3, it's manufactured into everyday necessities like pipes and, most crucially, tires. Just imagine for a second, if the humble rubber tree didn't generously bleed its sap for us, our daily commutes would be unimaginably bumpy. Modern transportation as we know it simply wouldn't exist.
And right alongside the rubber in your tires is the paper sitting on your desk. The very paper used to print books, legal documents, and school materials heavily relies on plants, often coming from the bamboo plant. There's actually a really beautiful irony here. The very source material we are learning from today, these pages about plants, physically exists because of the bamboo plant. We are literally using plants to learn about plants.
Finally, Section 5, Ecosystems and Everyday Essentials, the Big Picture.
But before we zoom all the way out to the macro level, here's one last micro surprise. Even the gum we use for adhesives in our crafts and industries is often derived directly from nature. It's specifically harvested from the acacia or kikar tree. It honestly feels like there is no modern synthetic product that nature hasn't already provided a blueprint for.
Let's quickly rattle off a few more of these blueprints because this is going to blow your mind the next time you open your bathroom cabinet. We're talking everyday products like perfumes, crafted from sweet-smelling flowers like rose and jasmine, but it's also your soaps, your shampoos, body creams, even your toothpastes. And let's not forget mehandi, that beautiful henna paste used to create those intricate designs on palms. It's made entirely from dried, crushed leaves. Plants are just deeply, inextricably embedded in almost all of our hygiene and beauty rituals.
Which brings us to a really vital realization about how we view plants. What they do for us versus what they do for the world. For us, as we've seen, it's perfumes, soaps, decorations, food, and shelter. But for the world, plants provide literal homes for birds, monkeys, and squirrels. They give essential nectar that sustains butterflies and insects. And above all, they act as the lungs of the earth, making the air fresh and pure for every single living, breathing creature on this globe. Our consumer uses are incredibly vast, but the life-sustaining environmental benefits are totally immeasurable. And that is exactly why we must continually focus on growing more trees and vigorously protecting these ecosystems.
So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. Knowing everything we've just unpacked today, from the food grains in your pantry to the cotton in your shirt, the rubber in your tires, the wood in your desk, the medicine in your cabinet, and the very oxygen in your lungs, can you imagine surviving even a single day completely devoid of plant products? The answer, of course, is a resounding no. Hopefully, this explainer has given you a profound, brand new appreciation for the invisible plant world that is silently powering every single aspect of your day. Thanks for learning with me, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.